Fishing's been pretty good out here the last couple weeks, but you know what's coming up, the dreaded waning gibbous. And no matter how much you try to ignore it, it's going to happen. So with that, all you can do is keep your head up, continue watching in deep on the Delta. So let's take a look at a few pictures, and we'll get right into the report. Waning gibbous. Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. You're watching In Deep on the Delta. This is the weekly fishing report for July 2nd. Let's start off with some good news. I want to congratulate a couple of my young friends, my young angling buddies, Parker and Evan. They were two of the high school anglers that qualified for the national championships, or the high school national championships. They just got done fishing, Cumberland Lake out in Kentucky. 411 boats. Parker and Evan went up, fished a lake they had never seen before. Neither one of them ever fished it. Extremely tough conditions, and 411 boats. These guys just weren't guys that they invited. Everyone had to qualify. 411 of the top high school teams in the country, all state champions, or teams that have competed at a high level to get the bid to get into this tournament. And Parker and Evan, 150 out of 411 boats. Not bad. Congratulations, guys. When you get back, maybe you can come sit down and talk with me, and we can tell everybody or you guys can tell everybody what you did, how you liked it, and yeah, and just, you know, give us an idea of the whole experience. So congratulations, Parker and Evan. I know we had, I think, 11 teams from the Delta region. They all competed hard. I heard that the fishing was extremely tough. Both days of competition, over half the field, over half of 411 boats didn't even weigh in a fish. That's tough fishing. So good job, guys. Safe travels back. We'll talk to you when you get home. With that, I've got some more news. Last week we were the In Deep on the Delta drawing was for the River to Sea bait package, and Mr. G, I was not able to connect with him, didn't get any response, so we're going to announce another drawing prize winner, and it's going to be the River to Sea package, and it's a great package. If you don't remember what was in it, it's a couple of River to Sea frogs. I think we've got a biggie. There's a whopper plopper, a rover, some of their hooks. I think there's a big swim bait in it, and a couple other baits. Really nice bait package. The winner for that River to Sea bait package is Freedom Fishing Tug Life. So Mr. Tug Life, if you can get a hold of me at scooper9561032, give me some idea of where you're at, where I can send these baits to you, and we'll get you this nice bait package from River to Sea. And remember, River to Sea has been a longtime supporter of In Deep on the Delta, and they've been a longtime supporter of local youth fishing. So hopefully we hear from you, Mr. Tug Life. What else we got? I'm going to call this a public service. It's not a public service announcement, but it's a plea for information. I've had a couple people in the last week ask me if I knew anyone that worked on Minn Kota trolling motors. I've talked to everybody that I can talk to. I talked to Rob from the Bass Hole, and he just can't find anybody that works on these Minn Kota trolling motors. If there is anyone out there that knows of a good mechanic that works on the Minn Kota, if you give me that information, I will be happy to announce next week that for all of you folks that have problems with your Minn Kotas, somebody to work on them for you. So with that, hopefully I'll get a few responses to that, and some of these folks that are having problems that they can't take care of, we'll have a guy to talk to. Let's start off with a report from Clear Lake. I talked to one of my good friends up there, one of my favorite guys, Nino Spella, and he talked about the Skeet Reese Big Bass Battle. So let's talk about that real quick. 487 anglers. I think they had over 200 boats, so I think you were allowed to have 3 anglers in a boat. One big fish would win an hourly prize. Last week I predicted there was going to be a double digit to win it, and they didn't come up with the double digit. A 9-1, 9-pound 1 ounce won the tournament. Local fella Chad Fry from Livermore, congratulations Chad, won the $90,000 Ranger. Now I think they had a handful of 9s, 3 or 4, maybe 5 9s, a ton of 8s, a bunch of 7s. And I was talking to a friend of mine and I said, you know, if I had a 9-pounder on that first day, I would not be confident that I would be winning that boat. Even if I had a low 10, mid 10, I would think a upper 10 or maybe 11 or even a 12-pound fish would win that tournament, and I would be on pins and needles waiting for the weigh-in. And just, you know, after I said that, I kind of thought to myself, how good is it, that lake, when you can say, man, it's disappointing that, you know, or you'd be scared if you got a low 10-pound, a double-digit fish, and you weren't going to get the prize for big fish. That's how good that lake is right now. So, man, they had a great tournament up there, and for you guys that might want to see this as I don't know that they have another one scheduled for next year, but for you guys that really enjoyed the tournament, you want to do it again, you know, Skeet Reese was the director. He's got a nice website you can contact him at and just say, hey, I really enjoyed the tournament. I'd like to see it as an annual tournament out here out west with a $90,000 first prize. Maybe Skeet will get enough comments that he'll shoot for that. So with that, let's talk about what Nino told me, how the fishing is at Clear Lake. Fishing is good, great numbers. And again, larger fish are a little harder to find. So you may only get some 6 and 7s and maybe an 8. It's going to be harder to get those 9s and 10s and 11s. Big freaking deal. You go up there, you're going to catch a ton of fish. There's a good top water bite. Water temperatures are 76 to 82 degrees. There is an algae bloom. If that turns you off, then don't go up there, but it doesn't turn the fishing off. The fishing is very good. If you're in the south part of the lake, you want to throw crankbaits, worms, jigs. If you're up north, flipping, pitching, and frogs. And then, you know, the good AM bite lasts for, an hour and a half in the AM, an hour and a half in the PM. Top waters are great. But the fishing has been good all day. So you can go up there and just have a great time right now. Most of the tournaments are burned off, and head up there and do your thing. If you want to get a hold of Nino to have him give you an up-to-date report, if you're going up there next week, or talk to Clear Lake Outdoors, call them at 707-262-5852. Let's switch over to Don Pedro. I talked to Aaron Jones out at Central Valley Bait and Tackle, and Aaron said for summer it's consistently average, and we, again, Aaron and I talked a little bit about it, and I said that's kind of the way I feel about the Delta. It hasn't perked up to its full potential, but average is still good. So it's consistently average for summer fishing. The fish are moving deeper out there. There is an AM and PM top water bite. Choppos, buzz baits, and walkers, fast-moving baits. The larger fish seem to be offshore, and what they're looking for is not necessarily way offshore where the humps are and the saddles and things. The fish are looking for that first drop-off in about 20 to 25 feet of water, so 20 to 25, maybe up to 30, 40 feet of water. Not super deep, but you're going to go offshore, find that drop-off, and then you want to fish jigs, plastics and things like that, bottom bouncing baits. Lower numbers, but the fish are decent quality, and there's a lot of fish in that 2.5, 3.5, up to 4 pounds. After that, it gets a little tough. But bigger worms are doing good, jigs and deep cranks if you can find those ledges. And darn it, I did not put Aaron's number on there, so I can give it to you, but if you look in the remarks, I've got Aaron listed there at Central Valley Bait and Tackle in Modesto for you guys that are heading up to Don Pedro. Give them a call. Let's go right into the Delta report. And I'll start off with a report from Joe from Core Fishing. He's been going out and he's been sending in some reports. And Joe's report kind of wraps up what everybody else has been saying. He went out north this week up around Liberty, did kind of a multi-species trip. I've got some pictures up there. He said, you know, the striper bite was still good. I forget how many he caught, but he caught some nice fish up there. Caught them all on a red crayfish, and he said all over the flats you can see these crayfish. So these fish are still, the stripers are up on the flats, and they're going after the crayfish. So you want to throw something that's going to look like a red crayfish. He's been throwing chatterbaits. By the way, there's not a lot of largemouth guys here in the Central Delta that are catching stripers right now, but there are a lot of the hardcore striper guys that are still going out, and they are getting basically what Joe said, a good bite for off season. You know, it's not it's not outstanding like it might be, you know, early spring or later in the fall, but it is a good off-season bite right now. It's just not getting talked about a whole lot. Anyhow, Joe was up there. He also caught about 20 to 30 largemouth bass, whopper ploppers, spinner baits, drop shot. A lot of them were that 10, 12, 13, 13-inch size, but he got some nice fish in the 2 to 3 pound class. And that's what everybody's been doing here on the California Delta. I'm going to go over a few tournaments, and we'll talk about the weights that came in, just so you can kind of see what's been going on. Thursday's tournament was one with 14 pounds. That's a low weight. They had an ABA tournament, and you guys know Lorenzo Rossetti. I think Lorenzo won it with 14 pounds, and they've got some big sticks out there. I know Juan is usually out there, and Mark Gomez, he's out there. Ken Ma's out there. Big sticks, and it was one with 14 pounds. That's a tough go. Now, Saturday they had the BBT, and they bumped up the weight. Winning weight was 21 pounds. That was right there, you know, I think a day or two before the full moon. And remember, we're getting our full moon dropped out, so we're going to have this waning gibbous, and that's going to be I think a pain coming up in this next week or so, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Anyhow, 21 pounds to win the BBT. Congratulations, good bag for tough conditions. And I think the average weights were right around 11 or 12 pounds, pretty low. Everybody's catching fish, but those big fish, really hard to find. Talked to Rob out at the bass hole, and the first thing, and he said, you know, I don't like this moon phase, post-spawn, you know, you're just going to have to deal with big numbers, with big fish, hard to come by. Rob has been throwing spinner baits, and a lot of people have switched from, in the Central Delta anyhow, spinner bait from chatter baits to spinner baits, especially with the wind we've been having. Warm weather, but wind. Also cranks and buzz baits. So Rob's top 3 baits this week, from what he's been hearing at the shop, spinner baits, crank baits, and buzz baits. You're going to go through a lot of numbers, and the big fish are going to be difficult to catch. Now, by the way, our water temperatures here in the Central Delta are about, I'd say, 76 to maybe 82 degrees, depending if you're out in the morning and the evening. So water temperatures are warming up. We've got crystal clear water. There's a bunch of spraying that's been going on out here. River conditions are good, but again, with this, you know, this moon phase and post-spawn and spraying, it's been a little tough the last couple of days. I've really been hitting that morning bite, the evening bite, and it has just been, I'm going to say, subpar average summer fishing for that change of light bite. By the way, I have a nice little video that I did mastering the change of light bite, and when I did that video, I was mastering it. I was having a great time. Since I did the video, I think I need to go back and watch my own video, because it's gotten a little tougher for me the last week. What are they biting early and late? Walking baits have been my favorite. When they're not hitting that walking bait, if I've got a little wind, I'm throwing a walking bait. If it's calm like it is right now, and by the way, as soon as I get done with this report, I'm going to go out and do an evening trip. But it's been tough. You got a windy conditions, big walking bait like a rover or a spook. Calm like it is right now, I'm throwing some type of popper or a bubble walker or something like that. I've been throwing a lot of small wake baits. I've been throwing rats. I have been throwing, geez, what else have I been throwing? pretty much any kind of topwater you want to throw, you are going to get bit by. It's just hard to get the big bites. In a session, a 2-hour session in the morning or evening, getting 15 fish. Out of those 15 fish, 7 of them are going to be rats. You're going to get 5 or 6 of them that'll be not a junior rat, but a medium-sized rat, 1.5 pounds to maybe 2 pounds. And if you get lucky, I'll catch a 3-pounder. So that has been the story of the AM and PM. During the course of the day, there has been some good reports, especially coming in as that moon was growing into the full moon, and I think the full moon was Sunday or something, so we've just dropped out, and that's going to cause some tough fishing. But the fishing was pretty darn good for good numbers, and lots of fish in that 3 or 4 pound class. Now you want to be looking at points, places that have some moving water in it, get a little more water flow, maybe some shade. The punch bite hasn't really happened yet, but people are catching fish punching. Frog bite has been slow. The worms are still going. Crankbaits are hitting it, and a lot of people are starting to throw those white spinner baits. Gold blade with one gold, one silver blade has been kind of something that everybody has been talking about. But you can catch fish out here. You're just going to have to maybe go a little bit lighter, not expect that 20-pound bag, and just have fun with lighter gear, drop shotting, things like that. Fish are hard fighting. They're in good shape. You're going to get a 14-inch fish, and it's going to be about yay long, and it's going to be about that deep. You can hardly get your hand around it. By the way, I'm going to put just I'm going to be leaving you with this. I'm going to put my thumb up here. See anything weird about that? Well, if you see this little mark here and this little mark right here, if you want to take a treble hook and put it in there like that, that's what happened. I had a hook come through my thumb on a whopper plopper, and I guess I'll leave this with just a word of warning. Be careful, that's all I can say. Luckily, I had a friend with me, Cameron Cardoza was out there. Cam, thank you so much for controlling that fish and getting it off of the whopper plopper that was connected to my thumb and cutting the hook for me. I really appreciate that. So be careful. I'm healing really nicely. I thought my thumb was going to be blown up or something, but you guys don't care about that. Anyhow, thank you guys for watching, and remember, Tug Life, hit me up this week so I can get rid of these river to sea baits. And next week, I'm going to tell you, we're going to talk about something new that's going to go on that I think all of you guys that watch every week, and especially for you guys that send me reports every week, are going to be excited about. Thanks a lot. Go out there and catch some fish. Send me a report. Be safe, and don't hook your thumb with a whopper plopper. See you guys. Bye-bye.